Hi, I'm Tim and I have too many books. But how do I prove that I have too many books? Obviously, I could show them all. It would take about half an hour for you to watch and about 2 days for me to film. And I don't want to have to do that. Perhaps if I just did authors, do all the authors in alphabetical order. Well, that's still a lot of books and probably beyond your patience. But here's a compromise. I've got quite a lot of authors where I've got more than 2 of their books. So how about limiting it to authors where I've got at least 2 of their books? Can I fit all the alphabet in? Not quite. But if I've read a book by an author, or read 2 books by an author, or more than 2, then maybe I can fill in the gaps in the alphabet with that author. That sounds like a plan. Of course, there are actually much more complicated rules that I followed to make this video, but you'll have to wait until the end or look in the description to see what they are. We want to talk about books, don't we? I think so. So let's start. A is for Ackroyd, Adair, Adams, Aldis, Ambler, Amis, Arnott, Atwood, Austin. B is for Baddiel, Bagley, Bainbridge, Ballard, Banks, Barnes, Barry, Beckett, Ben, Bellow, Benson, Bogart, Bonfiglioli, Boyd, Bradbury, Brahms, Brett, Bronte, Bryson, Buchan, Buck, Burgess. C is for Kane, Camus, Carey, Carey, Cordwell, Chandler, Christie, Coe, Collins, Conrad, Corran, Cornwell, Coupland, Crace. D is for Dayton, Delderfield, Dick, Dickens, Dos Passos, Dostoevsky, Doyle, Durrell. E is for Echo, Elroy, Evans. F is for Faulkner, Ford, Fisher, Fleming, Forrester, Fowles, Fraser, Frayne, Frost, Fry. G is for Gaiman, Garcia Marquez, Gentle, Gibbons, Golding, Goldman, Graves, Gray, Green, Green. H is for Haggard, Hamilton, Hammett, Handel, Hardy, Harris, Heller, Heyer, Hyerson, Highsmith, Hornby, Hornung, Hugot, Hugo, Huxley. I is for Innes, Irving, Ishiguro. J is for Jerome, Johnson, Jones, Joyce. K is for Keneally, Kennaway, Kennedy, Kerouac, Kipling. L is for Lawrence, Le Carre, Le Guin, Lee, Levin, Lewis, Llewellyn, Lodge, Luce, Lovesey, Lyle. M is for Macaulay, McInnes, MacLean, Manning, Martin, Marks, Maxwell, McCarthy, Mayer, Miller, Milne, Mitchell, Montserrat, Moorcock, Murakami, Murdoch. N is for Naipaul, North, Norton. O is for O'Brien, Orwell. P is for Polaniuk, Peretsky, Peake, Perec, Peters, Potter, Pole, Pratchett, Price, Pullman, Pynchon. Q is for Quinn. R is for Rankin, Raphael, Raven, Rees, Richardson, Roth, Rushdie, Rutherford. S is for Sassoon, Sale, Scott, Sharp, Sillitoe, Sinclair, Spark, Smith, Steinbeck, Stewart, Syal. T is for Tevis, Tay, Thackeray, Thompson, Tolkien, Tolstoy, Tremaine, Trollope, Twain. U is for Updike. V is for Vargas Llosa, Verne, Vidal, Vonnegut. W is for Wayne, Walters, Warner, Waterhouse, War, Weldon, Welsh, Wheatley, White, Williamson, Wilson, Winton, Woodhouse, Wu, Wyndham. X is for Xenophon. Y is for Yokomiso. Z is for Zahn. Right, now for the rules, although the first thing to say is I'm sorry about some of the footage back then. It got out of sync. This is a technical difficulty beyond my talents to fix, or to at least to fix quickly. So I hope you don't mind that there was a little bit of a syncing problem. There is a detailed technical reason why it happened, or at least I think there is, but there's not much I can do about it. Anyway, The rules. Now, you don't have to obey any of the rules I've put forward. They're completely advisory. I would encourage you to do this and do it any way you want. Just, you know, all the authors you can find and see if you can put them in alphabetical order. That's the idea. You can do it from your TBR, you can do it from books you just read or books you own. It doesn't matter. But it might help if I just say the rules that I use. I'll put the rules in the description. And while I tell you the rules, I'll have a scroll of all the books and authors that I've mentioned so far, or shown you so far, appearing about here. So, the rules. So the first rule is just, have you got 2 books? Now, this is going to be 2 books or novels. I got several omnibus editions, and obviously they have more than one novel in them, but I might only have one omnibus of a particular author, but I count the novels. Also, if you've got multi-volume works by an author, then each book counts as a book. So yeah, it's a slight cheat, but it kind of works. The next rule would be, if you have a book and you've read another book by the same author, well, obviously that counts, and you can use it. And this is all based on me trying to do 2 of everything, to cut down the sheer number of authors I have to talk about or I have to show. The third rule is, if you are going to have books you've read, it should be at least 2 books by an author. So my Q, Julia Quinn, I have read 3 of her books, 3 of her Bridgerton books, so therefore it counts. Personally, I would only do books that I read to fill in, but I only need to fill in 1 letter, so that was okay. The 4th rule is about double-barreled names. You have people like Arthur Conan Doyle, or H. Rider Haggard, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, or Maurier VARGAS LLOSA. Now, these sort of seemingly double-barreled names, what part of the alphabet goes into? Now, I did a bit of research to find out exactly what it is. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. If you want Arthur Conan Doyle to come under Conan Doyle, that's fine. Officially, though, it's Doyle, and Maurier VARGAS LLOSA is VARGAS LLOSA, not LLOSA. But, you know, you might need an L or a double L, so why not use it? I don't mind. Like I said, these are all entirely advisory rules. You don't have to obey any of them. The next one was an arbitrary choice, and this is to do with the extra bits in the middle of names. It's like the double barrels, but it's things like John le Carre or Daphne du Maurier or Elizabeth von Armin. Where do you put those? Now, I chose to say le Carre is L, du Maurier would be D, von Armin would be V. But of course, you could do them as C, M, and A if you wanted to. So yeah, again, it's up to you. I would always urge people to be consistent, but yeah, you don't have to. You can do what you want, whatever you want. The next rule, rule 6, is about East Asian names. Now, in the West, we usually do given name followed by family name. But in East Asia, they can do family name followed by given name. If you think about Chairman Mao, is Mao Zedong. Well, Mao is his family name, Zedong is his given name. And so you have to be aware of this. One of my selections was Journey into the West by Wu Cheng-en. Wu is his family name, Cheng-en was his given name. With Japanese people, often they have westernized them, so they flip them round. Also, people from China who have come to the West will often flip their names round so that it is given name, family name. So you need to be aware of those things. But again, if you need to fill in a letter, I'm not going to complain. Another thing to say about East Asian names is, especially with Chinese names, you have things like the chi sound or the shi sound. This can be, I think, written both as QI or as XI. Well, obviously that's going to fill in some useful gaps for you, but again, you shouldn't count them twice. You should decide on one for a particular author and then go with that one. The 7th rule is about multi-authored books. I did have one multi-authored books, Carol Brahms and S.J. Simon wrote a book called No Bed for Bacon, on which Shakespeare in Love was based, unofficially. I didn't count S.J. Simon, but I did count Carol Brahms. That was just a personal choice. But if you want to do that and you want to be strict about the rules and keep that sort of 2-book rule, what I would suggest you do is In a multiple authored rule, you just do 1 plus the number of authors. So in the case of Carol Brahms and S.J. Simon, I would need to have 3 books. It happens I do have 3 books by them. And if you have 3 authors, it would be 4 books, etc. Those are the rules. I hope you do this. I hope people will do this thing. I don't know people well enough to dare to tag them on this. So please spread it around, do your alphabetical author list, and see if you can fill up the alphabet. Enjoy.